The following contest is an Extreme Rules match and is for the Undisputed Championship.
Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to BCW. It is now time for our main event of the evening. On our second ever pay-per-view match, Brandon Elliott, also known here as the Necromancer, has made his presence known after the last several weeks, attacking all three members of the Syndicate, making both Joey and Roger disappear from ringside and leaving Frankie, our current BCW champion, lying prone in the ring. We have not heard a single word from Brandon Elliott since he was injured by Frankie Carter. Frankie hit him repeatedly with chair shots at the end of their last BCW Championship match, and he was expected not to return for the foreseeable future. However, as the weeks went on, there were mysterious attacks that we were later led to understand was perpetrated by this man here, the Necromancer. But it was pointed out very quickly that the symbol that is portrayed there on the front of the Necromancer's suit is, of course, the same symbol that is on the back of Brandon Elliott. Now, for those of you that might remember, back when Brandon Elliott first made his appearance here on BCW, I mentioned that I had asked Brandon what that tattoo meant, what that symbol stood for. I have since found out that that is the symbol of the Necromancer. And of course, that makes so much more sense now that we have seen the devastation that the Necromancer can cause. And of course, the fear that we saw on the face of Frankie Carter last week as the Necromancer finally made an appearance. Frankie quickly made his way out of the ring that night, and since then has been looking over his shoulder, constantly waiting for the next time that the Necromancer would attack. It was late last night, just before our pay-per-view schedule was finally set, that our general manager announced that there would be a no disqualification Extreme Rules match here tonight for the BCW Championship. That is exactly what Brandon Elliott, the Necromancer, has been wanting from day one, and now he is finally getting his opportunity. There will be no disqualification. This match will not end until we have a victor. The question is, will that victor be the Necromancer? Will it be Frankie Carter? That is what we are going to find out tonight. And folks, I do not expect this to be a short match. I expect both of these men to give it their all. I expect that by the end of this matchup, we are going to know who is the better man here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, take a seat, get back and relax, as this is your BCW Championship match, and I can assure you it is going to be one hell of a matchup.
Introducing the challenger from Orlando, Florida, weighing in at 275 pounds, the Necromancer. Introducing the champion from New York, weighing in at 292 pounds, he is the Undisputed Champion, Frankie Carter.
Both of these men are looking ready to go here tonight as Frankie hands off the BCW Championship, taking just that extra moment to give it one last look, because I'm pretty sure he knows this could be the end of his reign. The reign that he has had for over a year here in BCW as the champion could come to an end here tonight. So let's get this match underway. Right off the bat, Frankie running directly at the Necromancer, and the Necromancer quickly knocking Frankie down to the ground. And I'll be honest, folks, I'm not sure whether or not I should call him the Necromancer, if I should call him Brandon Elliott. I'm not sure what to call him. All I know is that at the end of the night, I have a feeling we will be calling him BCW Champion. But the question remains, is Brandon Elliott, the Necromancer, up to par? Is he at 100%? The doctor specifically told us that he would not be able to compete, yet here he is in the ring. looking as if he has just gone to another level. So, is that next level going to be enough to take away the championship from our longest reigning champion in Frankie Carter? So far here tonight, I have seen some things from Brandon Elliott, the Necromancer, that we have not seen before. And that tells me that he is putting in even more effort than we've ever seen before to make sure that this is his night. Brandon already going under the ring, trying to get a chair out there, but Frankie quickly knocking Brandon down and just getting that chair out of play. But I have a feeling it will come back into play very shortly. Frankie now looking to drag Brandon Elliott over to the ring. Oh, and just smashing his face into those ring steps there in a very painful manner. Now bringing Brandon up, and then what's he going for here? Is he, again, just taking Brandon over and smashing his face into those ring steps there. Very painful maneuver. And now dropping his knee there on the face of the Necromancer. Oh, the Necromancer with the nice reversal there, just pulling Frankie down by the back of his head. And now, oh, just dropping him there on the ribs, right on his knee there. And that is very painful. And again, grabbing that chair, and now, oh, going for the swing and a miss, but then Frankie turning around and getting just clocked by that chair directly to the head. That just brutal headshot there. Oh, and then right across the back. That chair is going to be very devastating. Oh, and again, Frankie just turning directly into that shot. And every time Frankie tries to roll out of the way, he then quickly gets up and gets taken right back down by that chair. And now Brandon going for the steps here. Oh, and just taking him out, just hitting him directly in the back. Oh, and then just right across the midsection with those steel steps. Oh, and again on the chest. And those steps are very heavy and just being dropped directly there on the chest. Oh, and now just that drop. Oh, and then Frankie landing directly on the corner. His back just being driven into the corner of those steps. And now just those steel chair shots. And Brandon is making sure that Frankie regrets every one of those shots from their last BCW Championship match. What's Brandon going for here? Oh, and we have seen this, of course, before. And that is Revelation as Brandon just drops Frankie there on the mat. Frankie very lucky that his head just was inches away from that chair there. That could have been even worse as he gets dropped there on the outside of the ring. The Necromancer now going back under the ring here. And the question will be, what is he going to pull out now? What instrument of devastation is he going to use here against Frankie? Frankie has picked up the chair, no, throwing it down. And now as Brandon pulling out a ladder, oh, he turns around and Frankie just delivering a shot there. It almost looked like you punched the ladder into Brandon. And that is what it's going to take from either of these men to be able to walk away with the victory here tonight. Oh, and Frankie just flipping off that ladder there, getting just that little extra height and adding just that bit more of pain there as he lands directly on the midsection of Brandon Elliott. And now just back and forth these two men. And now the Necromancer flipping him over. Oh, and almost landing right there directly on that ladder. Oh, Brandon trying to get that shot there, but Frankie able to roll out of the way, and then again pulling that ladder away. And now, yes, again. Oh, but this time, oh, Frankie landing directly on top of the ladder there. And Brandon making sure that Frankie regretted taking that ladder away. Oh, and now just the shot of the chair directly on the knee there as it is prone on the ladder. And that just adds a whole nother level of pain there as these men are doing everything they can to just destroy one another. Oh, and now the Necromancer out with a sledgehammer and just trying to take that shot, but no, Frankie blocking and able to get that sledgehammer away from him. Oh, and both these two men just back and forth here at ringside. Oh, and the Necromancer again just flipping Frankie over and dropping him down here outside the ring. And both of these men have got to be already in so much pain. They have done so much damage to one another already here, but the Necromancer is not through as he brings out a table. And now just, trying to attack Frankie with it, but Frankie able to fight it away from him. And now Frankie, yes, lifting him up and just driving him down there in that package pile driver, just putting the Necromancer down on his neck and easily could have caused permanent damage there. And now Frankie just taking a moment, catching his breath here. Oh, and then just a disrespectful kick as the Necromancer tried to get back up to his feet. And now Frankie just dropping him with that short DDT there and just planting the head of Brandon Elliott into that mat there at ringside. And again, you can see Frankie very smart here, taking a moment to catch his breath as Brandon Elliott is laid out there on the mat. Both of these men having to conserve as much energy as possible because they have both just taken a beating here. And now Brandon Elliott trying to decide what to do exactly with that table as he just knocks Frankie Carter to the ground. And again, just deciding, thinking. Oh, and again, it's almost like he's taunting Frankie, just daring him to get up. Now what's he going for? Setting the table up here at ringside. Oh, and just as he gets it up, Frankie able to kick him in the midsection and then dropping him here right next to the ring. And thankfully for Brandon Elliott, he did not end up going through that table here. And again, Frankie just staring down at the Necromancer. And you know he has to be wondering at this point, what is he going to have to do to put the Necromancer away? Oh, and again, just this quickness we've seen from both of these men here tonight. Oh, and then Brandon with several stiff shots there. Going for the lift, but Frankie able to stop him. And again, Frankie with this very familiar maneuver, just dropping Brandon on the back of his neck. Oh, nice move there from Frankie. Just dropping with precision right on the midsection of the Necromancer. But Brandon quickly able to throw Frankie back into the middle of the ring. And now Frankie just showing off as Brandon stands at ringside here. Oh, and a very stiff forearm there from the BCW champion. Just dropping the Necromancer here at ringside. Oh, very interesting choice of moves there by Frankie Carter as he uses the very move that Brandon Elliott has become so famous for here in BCW. Using Revelation against Brandon Elliott. Just throwing out there that Frankie knows exactly who he's going up against and that he has studied and is very familiar with this man here tonight. Even though Brandon is out here as the Necromancer, he is not exempt from Frankie's knowledge of exactly what is in his repertoire. Now, where is the Necromancer going as he sets this ladder up here at ringside? Oh, and then going for that move that he normally uses to drop his opponent, and it did not pay off as again, Frankie just dropping him there with that forearm. Oh, and Frankie going for a move that Brandon is very familiar with, and Brandon very quickly able to reverse, and now dropping Frankie here at the ringside. And what is he going for here as he picks up the chair yet again? Oh, and again, just smashing that chair across his head as he has just laid him out several times. And now Frankie has been busted open. And just these repeated chair shots from Brandon Elliott here. And you have to assume that this is payback for several weeks ago, the injury that Frankie put on Brandon Elliott. And you could see as the Necromancer just grabbing at his side there, those ribs have to still be hurting from all of the chair shots that Frankie delivered to him just a few weeks ago. Those broken ribs have to be coming into effect here as, oh, the Necromancer is just grabbing his midsection there. And that is going to be a problem for him if he cannot fight through this pain, if he cannot focus on what needs to be done to put the BCW champion away. Frankie again just taking a moment, staring at the Necromancer, who is laid here at ringside. Oh, and then going for the kick, but no, this time Brandon able to fight out of it, smashing his head there on the table, and then just delivering a stiff punch to the face there. Frankie being thrown back into the ring, and Brandon once again grabbing that chair, sliding into the ring. And what is he going for? Oh, trying to hit another chair shot there, but Frankie able to block it, and it looked like he was able to glance that chair off the face of the Necromancer. Oh, a nice catch there from Brandon Elliott as he catches Frankie going for the swing and then able to drop him there with revelation. Oh, and then bouncing off the ropes, and then that nice head scissor there, taking him down to the mat. Will he go for the cover here? No, once again picking up the chair. He is not done delivering just this punishment here to the BCW champion. He wants to make sure that when this match is done, everyone knows who the better man was. Oh, and then just getting dropped on his head right there on that leg of the steel chair there. And now Frankie going up top. Will this be enough? Will this be the thing that puts Brandon Elliott away? Will the Necromancer go down? Oh, he does. Is that enough? 1, 2, 3. No, as the Necromancer kicks out at the last moment there. But Frankie very quickly going back on the attack. No longer waiting for that rest. No longer letting Brandon Elliott catch his breath. Unfortunately for him, the Necromancer able to quickly get back on his feet and dropping him there with that running knee. Oh, and then just bending him over backwards and dropping him on the back of his neck. And again, Brandon Elliott going for that chair, just dropping it across the back of the head. And again on the midsection, just hitting anything and everything he can. Oh, Frankie able to block that chair shot there. Getting the chair away from him. Oh, and dropping him on the back of the neck. Going for the cover here. Is that enough? 1, 2. No, not even a 2 count. As Brandon able to kick out here. Oh, but again, this maneuver that Frankie has put so many people away with. Will he go for the cover here? No. What is he going for here? Just snapping the neck. There has been so many opportunities for both of these men to take a pin, but they have chosen not to. Choosing to let this match continue. Choosing to try to just punish their opponent here tonight. Oh, nice move there from Frankie, just flipping Brandon over. And now, again, with that nice, oh, and again, just these repeated flips here. And you would have to assume the energy that's expended doing those maneuvers, would Frankie be wiser just going for the cover? And now, what is Brandon going for as he jumps off the top rope there? Oh, and he does not quite fully connect. He was able to take Frankie down, but landed very hard there at ringside. And that looked very painful for both these men, as when Frankie went down, he landed directly there on those steel steps. And now Brandon Elliott with a bat here at ringside, and just that anger and frustration that Frankie was able to get out of the way. And again, Frankie hitting revelation on the Necromancer here. And Frankie is looking to humiliate Brandon Elliott by not only trying to beat him, but beating him with his own maneuver here. And that would certainly make a statement if Frankie is able to retain the championship here tonight by using Brandon's own move against him. And folks, this match has been going for nearly 15 minutes. Both of these men just putting in the work here. And the question remains, how much more do they have in them? How much longer can both of these men continue? Frankie has been busted open, the blood just pouring down his face. And if I saw correctly, it looked like the Necromancer has also been cut open. But it is so hard to tell with that face paint that he has there on his face. And it just adds to the mystique just that little bit more, because it makes it so much harder to tell when he is really hurting, because you can't see his facial expressions. You can't tell what's going through the Necromancer's mind. And that is part of the mind games that he has been playing with Frankie here over the last several weeks, and able to catch Frankie in midair just right there on his shoulder and dropping Frankie there into the corner, bouncing his head off that top turnbuckle. Oh, and again with the chair shots here right in the corner. Frankie able to get out of the way, but again just getting smashed directly there on his head. And now it is just getting uncomfortable to watch these repeated chair shots and just shots directly there to the head. Will the ref have to put a stop to this match? I know earlier that I said we would have a victor and it would have to be through some sort of pinfall, but at this point it may just have to be by the ref stopping the match. And if that is the case, Brandon would become our new BCW champion. Oh, Brandon looking to put Frankie possibly through the table here. He's got him up on the shoulders and just dropping him directly through the table. The midsection just landing right there in the center of that table, going directly through. And that has got to be very, very painful for Frankie. And now you have to start wondering about internal damage as Brandon is able to hit Revelation. Will that be enough? Will Brandon finally go for the cover? Has the Necromancer done what he came to do? Let's find out as he goes for the cover. 1, 2, 3. That is it, folks. The Necromancer has finally done what he set out to do here. And Brandon Elliott has done what he set out to do from day one here at BCW. And that has become the new BCW champion. He has ended the reign of Frankie Carter here in BCW. And now, after only 2 months of being here with the company, he is now our new champion. He fought very hard to get to this point and has proved he deserves to be champion.
Here is your winner and new undisputed champion, the Necromancer.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new BCW champion. Tune in next week to find out what that means for the future of BCW.